Hi there guys, and welcome back to Fliks Picks. This video is going to be discussing the predictions of Day 2, Week 1 of Stage 4 of the Overwatch League. Don't forget to go and check out the video that was covering Day 1 if you've missed that one, but without further ado, let's dive right into it with Game 1. The first series of the day sees the Boston Uprising taking on the Philadelphia Fusion. They will be facing off on Kings Row, Hanamura, Lijiang Tower, and Dorado. Looking at the teams overall, hybrid maps are looking good for Philly. Both teams not having a great run on escort maps, and while assault and control maps are positive for both teams, it is staggeringly positive for the Uprising, who have won twice as many maps as they have lost. As for the individual map win rates, Boston and Philly both have a 3-2 record on Kings Row. Boston are yet to win a map on Hanamura, whereas Philly has had success 6 times. Both teams have won Lijiang Tower more than 5 times, but Boston has also dropped the map 5 times, as opposed to Philly, who have only dropped the map twice. Finally, Boston has slightly underperformed on Dorado, while Philly has performed slightly above par. The team stats read as so: Boston per game average 6.5 kills and die 6.88 times, giving them a team average KD ratio of negative 0.38. Philadelphia, on the other hand, per game average 7.75 kills and die 6.62 times, giving them a team average KD ratio of 1.13. Now, even though Philly has a better KD ratio, they're sitting in 6th place in the standings, whereas Boston is sitting in 2nd place. So that's proof that your argument, "but I have gold looms," just means nothing in this game. When these two teams have faced off before, it's been a bit of a juggling act. 4-0 to Boston, 4-0 to Philly, and then 3-2 to Boston. So there's a bit of a rivalry here, and the two teams are well matched skill-wise. Looking at their last 9 games, we know that Boston has won all of them bar the grand final against NYXL. And Philly has been a bit hit and miss with a lot of game 5s as per usual, so it looks like Boston is in better form than the Fusion right now. There are a few external factors to talk about here, the first being that at the time of filming this, Boston's head coach Krusty had left the team and moved to the San Francisco Shock, and no replacement had filled his spot. So this team is still being coached by the assistant coaches when I made this. I don't think this would cause too much of a disruption for the Uprising, as it sounded like their team was eager to move on without him, and their resounding success in Stage 3 tells us that they had a solid formula to work with. It will be interesting to see how they adapt to the new meta, but it seems likely that they'll have no problem adapting. Philadelphia had a pretty average Stage 3 going 5-5. It seemed a bit disruptive with EQO's ban at the start of the stage, but every time they played they seemed a bit burnt out before the match even started. This was proved further by Carpe sitting out the last few games of the stage to recover from fatigue. Hopefully after the week's rest, the team will come back energized and ready to smash out the stage. They will also see Sado join their roster after a 30-game ban for boosting, so it might be refreshing for them to change their tank line up a bit. Unfortunately for Philly, they are quite predictable with their compositions and seem afraid to try anything new. Maybe this new meta and addition of Sado will work well for them and they'll bring some new strats to the table, but their reliance on dive comp might be their downfall this stage. We'll just have to wait and see. As you can see, the community is favouring the Uprising 64-36, and I'm also backing the Uprising 55-45. It would not surprise me if either team won this series. Both have incredible individual players, and both teams have strong synergy and teamwork. We'll be treated to a good series, and while it seems like the maps are stacked in favour to the Fusion, I think that given Boston's form and ability to adapt, they'll take this series. But that's not to say that Philly can't clutch this out. It's really too close to call. Both teams are really solid, but ultimately, I'm backing the Uprising this time. The second series pits the NYXL against the Florida Mayhem. They'll be fighting it out on Kings Row, Hanamura, Oasis, and Watch Point Gibraltar. Taking a look at these teams overall, we can see that the NYXL have a very positive win-loss ratio across all map types, while the Florida Mayhem have a very negative win-loss ratio across all map types. The map pool stats look very similar to the overall stats. History shows us that the NYXL have a resounding success rate on all of these maps, with Watch Point Gibraltar being their worst map in the series where they have won 4-2. Unfortunately, the Mayhem have a negative innings on every map with the exception of Kings Row where they are tied 2 wins for 2 losses. This suggests that King's Row is the Mayhem's strongest map in this pool, but any optimism quickly disappears when compared to the NYXL, who are undefeated on this map, so statistically it doesn't look too good for Florida. The team stats show us that the NYXL per game averaged 7.24 kills and 5.95 deaths, giving them a team average KD ratio of 1.29. The Florida Mayhem, on the other hand, averaged 6.28 kills per game and die 8 times per game, giving them a team average KD ratio of negative 1.72. So, the kills to deaths really favour the NYXL. In their previous encounters, we can see that the NYXL have won comfortably all 3 times against the Mayhem, winning 3-0, 3-1 and 4-0. Looking at both teams' last 9 games, we can see the NYXL are having a great run, winning all 9 games, whereas the Mayhem have only won 2 in their last 9. There isn't much to talk about externally for both of these teams. There's no big shifts in management or any player issues. The Mayhem are continuing to find success with their roster lineup and communication, and it's nice to see them slowly improving towards a mid-tier seed. But the NYXL have just been a dominant force all season, and they are exponentially improving every time we see them play. Taking a look at the community's thoughts, they are calling this series 94-6 in favour of the NYXL, and my prediction is basically the same, 95-5 to the NYXL. While the Mayhem have been showing improvements of late, I don't think they are a team that can take on the powerhouse that is the New York Excelsior, who are the best team in the league and boast some of the best players in the world. I'm expecting a 4-0, but we could see the Mayhem take a map. My guess is either King's Row or Watchpoint Gibraltar to make it a 3-1, but either way, it's NYXL taking this series. Last up, we have the Houston Outlaws taking on the London Spitfire. They'll be battling it out on King's Row, Horizon Lunar Colony, Lijiang Tower, and Watchpoint Gibraltar. Looking at the map types, we can see positive results for both teams on hybrid, escort, and assault maps, with London looking exceptionally strong on assault and escort. Both teams are having a subpar run on control maps, with both teams going negative in the way of wins. Taking a look across the map pool, we can see it's a very fair playing field, with each team having roughly the same success on each map. This excludes Lijiang Tower, where London has performed slightly better than the Outlaws. Looking at the stats for each team, Houston make an average per game of 6.03 kills and die 7.09 times, giving them a team average KD ratio of negative 1.06. London, on the other hand, average 7.12 kills per game and die 4.89 times per game, giving them a team average KD ratio of 2.23. I'll let you know that London has the highest KD average out of every team in the Overwatch League. But that doesn't seem to faze the Outlaws, who have beaten London 3-1 in their previous matchups, with the last 2 series going to a Game 5. Houston have found success in only 3 games of their last 9, while London has won 5 of their last 9, including winning the last 3 series that they played. This included them beating Seoul 3-2 and the Shock 4-0. Both teams who managed to take down Houston, with Seoul winning 4-0 and the Shock beating Houston 3-2. This insinuates to me that London are in better form at the moment. There's nothing groundbreaking to report in regards to external factors for either of these teams, but it will be interesting to see how both teams react to the new meta changes. Both teams have strong, adaptable players. However, one team will have to be better than the other, and it's going to be a fun series to find out who that's going to be. As for the community, you can see that they are backing Houston this time, but very narrowly at 53-47. I myself am thinking that London will take this series. I'm feeling that London has been performing better of late, and while the history between the two teams suggests that Houston could get the better of them, I think London is going to flock to this meta too well, and they're going to be after that sweet revenge on the Outlaws. I'm looking at 3-1 or 3-2 in London's favour. And that's it for day 2, guys. To quickly sum up, Fliks picks for day 2 are Boston, NYXL, and London. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to leave a comment. Let me know what you think is going to happen for day 2. And don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe, because we've got 2 more days of week 1 to come. So keep your eyes peeled, and I hope to see you then.
He needs to find a target quickly, and he does. The coalescence is well timed from Super, providing them the healing they need. Some damage over the top. It's Vic goes in with a tactical visor now. It's going to be at least the defense matrix for now. Mecha somehow still alive. He got the transcendence. No, he's knocked out of the mech. Zupe makes sure of that. Overtime still. Vic sitting in the background. Bionic Orb. You better believe